The former Deputy Prime Minister for Labour is probably Britain's most vigorous street campaigner to this day. He's here for the No campaign. He joins me now. John Prescott, thank you for being with us. What about the mood here? I mean, you don't mind being heckled, but a lot of people have said this has been quite a sort of ugly and intimidating campaign. Have you found
I thought it's rather kind of aggressive, but it's good. People are getting really into the debate as it narrows, as it becomes the uncertainties are being cleared. You've mentioned about the business today, but pensions and all the other financial problems still causing great uncertainty. But as it narrows, people are having to make their minds up, and that's what I found today on the doorstep.
And for you, as a Labour grandee, what is the big reason for voting no rather than yes to independence?
Well, to continued evolution. You know, 30 years ago, I produced a pamphlet with Gordon Brown, before he was an MP, calling for this fundamental change. What's happening in Scotland is not only affecting Scotland, it's affecting the whole of the United Kingdom. So when the three leaders come up today and say, Parliament will produce legislation, Adam, why in a few weeks or a few months? That's change. That's the fundamental change, starting in Scotland and will come to the English regions.
But against that, if you're going to get all those changes anyway, why not go the full hog if you're Scotland? You've got the chance and say, well, thanks very much, we'll go it alone.
Well, I don't think they'll be able to do that, what they can do alone. That's what the uncertainty is about. Can their pension be okay? Can the financials, can the actual whole business about finance be settled? They're the real problems. But, you know, at the end of the day, what will happen here, if Scotland separates, it will be an English Parliament. And that's what they're looking for on the Tory side. And that means 53 million people there, 5 million here. Doesn't sound an English partnership, but I believe in Britain. They're proud to be Scot, but they're proud to be British.
You say the Tories are looking for it. I mean, David Cameron's been here campaigning. Are you saying the Tories are secretly hoping for a yes vote?
No, I think they said no. I think he might have great difficulties if he loses or breaks up the United Kingdom. But I'm saying this, one of the consequences, they say Labour needs those votes. We do, in order to continue the kind of Britain that we've got in this country. But the Tories are not going to worry if they haven't got Labour MPs. They'll have a full house in an English Parliament doing what they want.
So, I mean, in that sense, you sympathise with David Cameron when he said today you shouldn't use this as an opportunity to get rid of the effing Tory government.
Yeah, I don't know whether I sympathise with Cameron. I've been in the business too long. He's always been against devolution, but he does know that the people of Scotland are now facing a choice whether you separate, have separation, or indeed whether you do it within the United Kingdom. And everybody, in my view, most people, still want it within Britain.
John Major's been saying today that perhaps the way devolution was done by the government that you were the Deputy Prime Minister of was a mistake. Would you agree with that?
I read it, yes. I think it was in The Independent. Here was a man who was telling us, yes, we must have devolution. I fought for it 30 years. Now he tells us, I didn't really want it, but allowed to go along with it. Now I regret it. Well, he might regret it, but not the people of Scotland. But they want more powers, more resources, and get involved in dealing with their own problems.
But, I mean, the point he was making, apart from anything else, was that Labour used to be the dominant party in Scotland, and it's dramatically lost ground now to the Nationalists and to Alex Salmond.
Well, Nationalists have had that effect, there's no doubt about it, and that's what this is about. But, you know, they're all about drawing boundaries, aren't they? We're on about keeping a great Britain, but they're proud to be Scot, like I'm proud to be Welsh, but we're also proud to be British.
But do you think it was a mistake once you gave a Scottish Parliament, once devolution took place?
No, I don't think it was a mistake for the moment.
Well, no. Was this a mistake that you had so many prominent Scots in the cabinet, in the UK government, and none of them came back home to work in Scottish politics? Should perhaps you and Tony Blair have said, well, I don't know, Douglas Alexander, Robin Cook, maybe you ought to be packing your bags and heading home?
No. I wanted English assemblies, and, you know, I did bring them in. The Tories got rid of them. It's horses for courses. And I think the great people who've always played a part in British politics will be in the parliaments, wherever they might be. That's the richness of our democratic system. And what started here is a real revolution about devolution. People in my area in the north, Scotland or Wales, we want greater say, greater share of the resources, and that, to mine, is the real issue here.
As far as Scotland goes, how close do you think it is? You've been
I think it's always going to be close. I mean, you're old enough with me to remember the Common Market one. We fought to get a referendum on the Common Market. We thought, that's correct, it will get out. Yeah. No, we didn't. And why didn't we? Because people were uncertain. And you've been reflecting some of those uncertainties here. I think the uncertainty, the people concerned about their pensions, their insurance, which I've heard today, will want to stay in the United Kingdom.
What do you think is going to happen in the UK if there is a yes vote?
We have to then negotiate what goes on, but that's the uncertainties at the moment. Everybody agrees, will the Bank of England be this? What will happen to the old financial arrangements? They are not to be decided in this election. Those uncertainties come after, and I think that's going to concentrate people's minds. The businesses now beginning to say, hey, hang on, we're going to lose jobs. It's going to be bad for Scotland. It's now getting to that final part where you have to make a decision. And I hope they vote not only for Scotland, but they vote for Britain also, within a united framework, not separation. We're still better together.